All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here at the Martinsville Speedway, where today rather, we are getting ready to qualify for the NOS Energy Cup Series. And of course, first up is our part-time cars. The top 6 competitors from this session will make up the 42 car field for tonight's Skittles 500. You'll be able to see that live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. And it's actually going to be a pretty fun one. We had ourselves a very bomb of a time last night in the Menards Truck Series race that saw Michael Davis nab his first career win in the Truck Series, finally, after four tries in the series. Well, really in his 4th overall start. But definitely got that rebound that he had been looking for back at Daytona when he lost out on the basically the season opening race for this year that Emmanuel Hartnett went on to win, at least back in February. But here we are, just several months later. The live streams for NOS Energy Cup qualifying are officially back, and as of right now, it is currently Jordan Sumner whom we're looking at, driving the number 89. Of course, being renumbered to the 89 with Lily Cassius coming up to the Cup Series. And Cassius looking to try to make her second consecutive start, or her third straight start, rather, in the NOS Energy Cup Series. Remember, the last 2 starts that she made was her debut race at Auto Club Speedway. She almost won that event. Unfortunately, could not gave Wyatt Walker a run for his money, but unfortunately just came up a little bit short. And then just 1 week ago at Brazil in the Arena Café Norte in Brazil, managed to take home a top 10 finish. So 2 fantastic results there for the number 20 of Lily Cassius, and now trying to make her 3rd straight appearance here in the NOS Energy Cup Series. Right now, she is, well, sort of dropping back in the running order right now. She is 9th with a 19.272. That might evolve here, and it did evolve. It might improve, and it just did there with a 19.176. So now she gets, well, she just absolutely got relegated back from the 3rd spot all the way now outside of the top 6. Which she currently is on the outside looking in with that 176. Everybody else managed to improve on their times. Nikki Fox is one of them. She jumped up to 2nd, and now she's been relegated to 4th with a 19.096. And there are several drivers that are currently improving on their times just outside of the top 6 at this concurrent moment, but not enough for any of them to break in as of right now. So far, Michael Davis looks like he'd be making his 2nd consecutive NOS Energy Cup appearance. He made his debut last week at Brazil. He won the truck race last night and looking to try to go 2 for 2 and keep the winning ways going here for Davis Family Racing. Remember, it was, this is Liam Davis, excuse me. Well, yeah, this is Michael Davis. It just has Liam Davis's name on the windshields, so a little bit of confusion there, but eventually that will get fixed. But nonetheless, though, Michael Davis in this number 30 won the truck race last night, looking to try to go 2 for 2 here and try to make this race and see if he can try to win it for himself to sweep the weekend. Remember, it was 1 week ago that Ryan Davis nabbed his first win in the Cup Series and giving Davis Family Racing their first win in WRLA overall. And then Michael Davis, again, as I mentioned last night, followed it up with a Truck Series win over in that division. So Davis Family Racing firing on all cylinders as of right now. And Michael Davis and all the other members of the Davis family looking to try to keep their winning ways going. Trying to make it 3 for 3 overall here in the NOS Energy Cup Series right here at Martinsville. 10 minutes to go here in this session. Top 6 looks like this as of right now. Michael Davis at the top of the board. We just mentioned that a little bit ago. Then in seconds, that is Michael DeFeo. Both of these drivers competed last night. And of course, again, Davis won, and Michael DeFeo took home a top 5 finish. So looking to try to ride that momentum here into tonight for DeFeo, as he's getting his bumper worked here by Haley Curris. But DeFeo, as of right now, he sits second. Then Eric Blaze is in third. Well, not anymore. That was Lily Cassius that just jumped into the top 6, a 19.072 for the number 20 machine. But Curris now jumps up inside of the top 6, as does Samet Oskin, as does Bruno Diacomo. Wait just a minute. Where did all these times just come from? So Diacomo now moves up to third, and then Curris down to fourth. Samet Oskin is fifth, and Lily Cassius is currently on the bubble spot, just holding on to it. 7 1/1000ths of a second back from her is Eric Blaze. Now Ryan Gundillo make that 6 1/1000ths of a second difference between 6th and 7th. But it is very, very close as of right now here. Cassius looking to try to make her 3rd straight appearance here in the NOS Energy Cup Series and try to build off of the success that she has been able to cook up for herself within a short period of time. She's doing an absolutely fantastic job here. Well, I mean, she's done a fantastic job so far in the last 2 starts that she has made here in the Cup level. But I'm going to try to make her 3rd straight appearance, and right now it's kind of looking like it's in the yellow as of right now, and now it's in the red as the 89 of Jordan Sumner jumps up to 3rd with a 19.032, and Cassius answers back by jumping up to 5th with a 19.053. Diacomo to the top of the board with an 18.937. DeFeo jumps up into that 18-second bracket, and looks like Nikki Fox just absolutely nailed the wall here. She's going to be bringing that car on down to pit road. Yeah, look at the damage on the passenger side of the Among Us Ford Mustang. That is something that we've seen quite a bit in last night's truck race, and probably something we're going to see a little bit more of tonight. But as of right now, 7 minutes to go, halfway through this part-time qualifying session. Remember, that will make up the rest of the 42-car field for tonight. There's Martin Nixon in the number 2. Right now running 12th with a 19.097. So things not looking too good here for Martin Nixon, as same can be said for Ray Atikian in the 45 and Liam Davis in the number 12. Liam Davis wound up making his Cup Series debut over at Las Vegas back in March, and needless to say, excuse me, he took up a top 10 finish in his first appearance here in the Cup level. He also competed last night in the truck race, as did Samet Oskin. There's a number of drivers that competed last night in the truck race. Bruno Diacomo is another driver. He wound up competing last night. Remember, he is full-time in the truck series. He was full-time in Cup last year, but Appalachia Motorsports kind of scaled back to a part-time scaled back to a part-time basis, and it's kind of working out for him. As Diacomo, I mean, they really don't have too much to lose. I mean, you know, for Appalachia Motorsports, same can be said for Bruno Diacomo. That's only on the Cup side as far as that's concerned, but over in the truck series, that's a bit of a different story for Bruno Diacomo, because he is contending for a championship over there, as he did. I mean, same as he did, you know, previously here in the Cup series. So now that he really doesn't have anything to lose up here in the Cup, he can pretty much run as hard. Pretty much all you can do here if you're running part-time here in the Cup Series. And it looks like Eric Blaze just jumped up to 5th with a 19.007. And that puts Cassius back on the bubble spot. And she is currently holding on just by 2/1000ths of a second over Josiah Munsell. He's currently sitting in the pits. Now he's exiting. He was sitting in the pits for just a little bit, but now we're going to try to improve on his lap times. Probably made some adjustments to his car, so we'll just have to wait and see what he's got in store here on this lap, or at least in this run that he's getting ready to make here. We're going to keep our eyes here on Munsell with less than 5 minutes to go in this go or go homer session. And the time right now is not improved. Still a 19.055 for Munsell. Cash is still holding on with a 0.53. Everybody with the exception of Diacomo, DeFeo, and Sumner are all within that 18-second bracket, or they're in the 19-second bracket. They're the Diacomo, DeFeo, and Sumner. They're the only 3 that have broken into that 18-second bracket. And Eric Blaze, hold up, wait a minute. Salmon Oskin just jumped up inside of the top 6 with an 18.966, and that puts Eric Blaze on the bubble spot with Lily Cassius on the outside looking in. And now Oskin just jumped up to the top of the board, and Liam Davis enters the chat. 5th quickest with an 18.982. So some of these guys are actually getting their adjustments in, and it's paying off late in the going. Now Michael Davis is on the bubble spot. Eric Blaze now on the outside looking in. Cassius now starting to drop back. But my, oh my, things are starting to unravel here with 2.5 minutes left here in this knockout qualifying session for the part-timers. Man, it would be a shame here if Cassius is not able to capitalize on this, or at least try to do what she can on her part to improve on this time. It would be really unfortunate more than anything, especially after the 2 great runs that she had to start off her NOS Energy Cup career. A runner-up finish at Fontana, and then a 10th place last week in Brazil. And now at this point, now at this rate, it's more of, what do I need to do? Possibly might have to make some adjustments here to this Dr. Pepper Toyota Camry if she's going to have any sort of opportunity to try to break back into the top 6. Oh my, that's actually kind of wild that a lot of these drivers, they managed to break into that bracket, break into the top 6 late in the going. And that it just very, very late in the going, they managed to get the setups down, and that's honestly pretty interesting of how they were able to nail that, or at least try to get their setups nailed down so late in the session. That some drivers that honestly I was starting to really expect them to be up here inside of the top 6 and have a legit shot of trying to make the show. Unfortunately for some of them, that run is going to be cut very, very short. "30 seconds to go. And now Nikki Fox jumps up to 8th on the board, but that's not enough to get her inside of the top 6. That puts Cassius back to 9th. And I do believe if anything does not change here within the next 10 seconds and any of the added time that we're about to see here, I think that might be all she wrote here for anyone else looking to try to make this race. 20 seconds left on the board. Some of these drivers can put down one more lap, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Cassius will not make her third consecutive start, and your top 6 that will move on into tonight's main event. It will be Samet Oskin, Bruno Diacomo, Michael Davis, Michael DeFeo, Jordan Sumner, and Liam Davis for the second race in a row. All 4 of the Davis family racing cars will be in the show for tonight's race here at Martinsville. However, as for drivers such as Eric Blaze, Nikki Fox, Lily Cassius, Josiah Munsell, Haley Curris, Ray Atikian, Ryan Gundillo, and also Martin Nixon. Unfortunately, those drivers will have to sit this one out, and it's going to be a long wait. Approximately about a 3-week wait before these drivers are back in action at the Ricky Raceway to kick off a full month of racing in the month of May. That is going to be quite the lengthy wait, to say the least. But congratulations to our top 6 competitors of Oskin, Diacomo, Davis, DeFeo, Sumner, and Liam Davis. They will all be joining the rest of the other 36 full-time contenders and looking to try to set the starting lineup here for tonight's Skittles 500 from here at the Martinsville Speedway. So when we come back, we'll get the field all put together and set up and get these cars out here to set the starting lineup for tonight's Skittles 500 from here at the Martinsville Speedway. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in just a few short minutes. And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. And my goodness gracious, that was some qualifying session that we just had here at the Martinsville Speedway. But now this time it is to set the starting lineup for the Skittles 500 here tonight. And I wonder exactly what's going on here. Okay, here we go. So I was wondering if anybody was going to make their way out onto the racetrack, and looks like that's going to be the case here. Actually, give me 1 second. There is something I completely forgot to do here. Just 1 second. 1 second. There is something that I should have done here. And I I did not even realize it until I saw Emily Anderson make her way out onto the racetrack, or at least prepare to do so. So we're going to have like one more brief pause here real quick because there's one tiny little adjustment that I need to make, and that is the ratings on the number 6, because Emily Anderson would be starting in the caboose and be kind of a nuisance when it comes to being lap traffic. So we're just going to get those ratings adjusted, and then we'll bring the cars back out onto the racetrack to officially set the starting lineup for tonight's Skittles 500. And we should be 100% good to go. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we should be 100% good to go. All the drivers, all the cars are now at equal ratings, and we should be 100% good to go here to now officially set the starting lineup for tonight's Skittles 500. Remember, for tracks that are 1 mile or below, we do 2 rounds of qualifying, where all 42 cars are out here on round 1, and the fastest 12 will move on to our second and final round to determine the pole sitter for tonight's race. And for other festivities, any track that is above 1 mile, we do 3 rounds of qualifying, where the fastest 24 will move on to round number 2, and then the fastest 12 will move on to our third and final round. But as I mentioned earlier, for short tracks, it is a different story. It is going to be 2 rounds, where the fastest 12 will move on to our final round here after 10 minutes. Quentin Moore was the first one on the racetrack. He just put down his lap with a 19.598. And then in second, that would be CG Halt with a 641. Ryan Davis, who won last week at Brazil in dominating fashion, finds himself inside of the top 5 with a 19.586, as now we're going to see a lot of these drivers really start to put down their lap times, and this is where that leaderboard is going to be shuffling like absolute crazy. There's Russell Blaze here in the number 29. He took home a top 5 finish last week at Brazil. Now driving the Dead by Daylight colors once again, and looking to still looking to try to nab his first win of the season, but he is still continuing his very consistent ways heading into this year. You know, right now, top 5 in the point standings. Obviously, still has yet to score a win this year. He got his first career win last year at the Nashville Super Speedway when he was driving for Ryan Durrani at the time. But now for his own team of Death Rider Racing. Unfortunately, Eric Blaze just missed out a little bit ago, or earlier today, but still, the Death Rider Racing stable looking to try to still nab their first win of the year. Doesn't matter who it is, whether it be with Blaze, whether it be with Steven Walker, or even the 28 of Kyle Craven. Speaking of Kyle Craven, he has not had himself a good year whatsoever. He is almost towards the bottom of the point standings. We can actually find him. I might have scrolled past him. There he is, actually. Yeah, I did scroll past him. But there he is in the number 28. Unfortunately, he's just not had himself a good year at all. Our defending series champion coming into this weekend is right within the top 30 in the point standings. Not exactly how he wanted his season to pan out so far. We are almost 1/4 of the way done with this season, and I mean, we got the month of May coming up, so I mean, it's gonna be, the month of May is gonna be a really good opportunity. Oh, we have a crash here. That is actually with Michael Davis, who completely, I guess, got turned and came to a dead stop. We have another. What in the world? That's Noah Clifton, who's upside down. And then we'll have to do a little check this video at some point just to kind of give you a good recap of all the crashes. We'll probably have that for you throughout at least some point this upcoming week. But my goodness gracious, that was kind of an interesting sight to behold. But my goodness, Russell Blaze tied actually with Sebastian Vaughn with a 19.323. But both of them are in a really good spot to move into the final round. There's Emily Anderson in the number 6, debuting new Mountain Dew colors here for this year. Every single one of Emily Anderson's wins have come in the Mountain Dew paint scheme of any kind. She won at Texas. That was her first career win in 2017. And 2020, she won at Richmond. And then last year, she won at North Wilkesboro and then Indianapolis. Again, all of which were in Mountain Dew colors. She's debuting a new look here for tonight for the Mountain Dew scheme. And they're going to try to capitalize on some really much needed turnaround. And so far, qualifying-wise, she's got it. 7th quickest with a 19.269. Skylar Taylor jumps up to the top with a 19.221. Craven now second with a 232. Then Avery Alford third with a 237. Then it's Rogel Dorn and Eric Monaco. That's your top 5. Then so far, and then it's Val Moscow, Emily Anderson, Samet Oskin, Liam Davis, Wyatt Walker, the top 10. Now, let's talk about Wyatt Walker here for a second, if we can actually get up to him. You know, Walker, he was absolutely kicking himself last week at Brazil because he was hard on himself because just a few weeks ago, he nabbed his first win of the season, you know, at Auto Club Speedway. And then we go to Brazil just a couple of weeks later, and he finished dead last after being with Aaron Abel and several others on top of that as well. So Walker absolutely was just kicking himself and just really discouraged after what happened last week. He said we went from winning the race at Fontana to 42nd. That's just my luck. But Walker looking to try to turn things around here at the Martinsville Speedway, one track that he definitely is familiar with, as is a vast majority of the other drivers that are running in this field here for tonight. So far right now, Wyatt Walker just got bumped out of the top 12. Zachary Fitzwater holds on to that final transfer spot with a 288, 5/1000ths of a second quicker than Roberto Crown Jr. There's Travis Crampton in the 61. He nabbed his first NOS Energy Cup win last year at Talladega as a part-time driver. Running full-time here this year and could very well have himself a good night tonight in the number 61. And now he's, well, 13th quickest. He just got bumped out of the top 12 as the leaderboard continues to shuffle inside of the top 12. Emily Anderson now on the outside looking in with a 269, just 7/1000ths of a second quicker than Samet Oskin, whom I believe is probably still out on the racetrack. There he is. Oskin competed last night in the truck race. He did lead a good portion of the race, but didn't nab the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. That went to Michael Davis, who went on to win the race and nab his first career win in the truck series last night. But as for Samet Oskin, he's still looking for that much needed first career win. He made a few starts in 2020, one of which, again, the most notable one that comes to my head was Auto Club Speedway in 2020, where Oskin had himself a huge lead, and then something happened to his car at that day, and he wound up getting off the pace, whether it be he ran out of fuel or dropped a cylinder on the car. And oh my goodness gracious, what in the world just happened with both of the EGI cars? Claire Phillips looks like she just sent it in on Emily Anderson, and she not only took out Anderson, but she took herself out in the process. I don't know what just happened there, but Claire Phillips probably is going to have some words from Emily Anderson by the time that this session is done and over with. Anderson right now stacks up 18th quickest. She got relegated back quite a ways, but as for Claire Phillips, she is on track to advance to the final round in that 11th spot, currently tied with Liam Davis. Well, now she's on the bubble spot, but still tied with Liam Davis nonetheless, who's sitting on pit road. And Liam Davis is just off by a few millionths of a second, so that is such a ridiculously close margin, to say the least, between the bubble spot and the outside looking in drivers. But I do believe it might be just too little too late here for Liam Davis to try to secure a spot in the final round. And still regardless, a really good starting position for Liam Davis, but he's not going to be moving on into the final round. That'll actually be Sebastian Vaughn, Val Moscow, Eric Monaco, Wyatt Walker, Kyle Craven, Rogel Dorn, Skylar Taylor, Andrew Ramsey, Avery Alford, Russell Blaze, Stephen Walker, and Claire Phillips will all be moving on into our final round of qualifying here for tonight. As for everybody else, 13th on down, that is where they'll be starting for tonight's Skittles 500. And how about that, though? I mean, I still kind of question the move that Phillips just made there on her own teammate of Emily Anderson, but unfortunately Anderson has just got relegated back from 7th down to 22nd within the span of, I don't even know, 5 minutes. That's just rather unfortunate to see there, but Emily Anderson going to be starting mid-pack here for tonight. She's going to have a good amount of work cut out for her, so we'll be definitely keeping an eye on her to see if she'll be able to capitalize on a little bit of adversity coming in here for tonight. Her younger sister, Trinity Anderson, will be starting 16th, but there's the rest of your starting lineup right there on your screen. And ladies and gentlemen, it is getting pretty interesting. When we come back, it will be getting the field set up, our 12-car field set up, and we'll be figuring out who will win the poll for tonight's Skittles 500 from here in Martinsville. We'll be back just after the break. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again. This time it is for our final round of qualifying from here at the Martinsville Speedway. I'm getting a lot of Spotify that's just randomly playing, but still, nonetheless, we're getting ready to go here for our second and final round of the night here to just set the rest of your starting lineup and determine who will win the poll for tonight's Skittles 500 track. And Andrew Ramsey following not too far behind in the YouTube colors. So there's Ramsey. He currently has one NOS Energy Cup win to his name, and that came at Pocono in 2020. We're going to try to add on to that here for tonight. Right now, he stacks up second quickest, 1/1000th of a second slower than Skylar Taylor to kick things off. Local Dorn now with a 388 to his time, but now this is where things are going to start getting a little bit faster. A 19,269 now for Andrew Ramsey, a 280 for Skylar Taylor. Here comes Avery Alford on the racetrack. Moscow looking to join. And there's Stephen Walker in the number 24. Walker's been having himself a pretty consistent year so far to kick things off. Right now, top 10 in the point standings. And, you know, Stephen Walker for Death Rider Racing and Wyatt Walker's cousin, definitely shaping up here to maybe potentially get his first career win. It could happen this year, could even happen tonight. We're just going to have to keep our eyes peeled open and see what happens. Fourth quickest, though, for Stephen Walker in the 24. But top five regardless, though. There's Wyatt Walker in the number 19. We were just talking about him a little bit ago. He's now on the racetrack with Rogel Dorn there in tow. And Dorn just jumped up to the top with a 19,037. Sebastian Vaughn in the background. Kyle Craven now fifth quickest with a 211. And as of right now, Claire Phillips just jumped up to second with a 19,101. Now she just immediately gets relegated back to fourth as Ramsey answers back with a 099 and Skylar Taylor with a 101. All of which in that 19-second bracket here, with closing in on 6 minutes to go in another 42 seconds and counting. And Phillips just nailed the wall there coming off of turn number 4. She definitely felt the pressure that Eric Monaco was applying there to get her to make a mistake. And by God, it actually did happen. But Monaco now jumps up to 10th with a 191. So now he is 10th quickest. Russell Blaze is now 9th with a 154. Wyatt Walker with a 153. Avery Alford with a 138 as we're going up the top 10. Kyle Craven, look at this, actually. He just jumped up to second and now top of the board. How about that for our defending series champion? Kyle Craven looking to try to nab his, I believe, his third pole of the year, actually. Remember, he only got the pole at Daytona because we set the starting lineup via points. And I think he wound up nabbing the pole again at Minnesota when we legit qualified. And now here we are at Martinsville looking to try to get his third pole of the season. It's never happened before here in the NOS Energy Cup Series, but it could very well happen tonight. Not if Wyatt Walker has anything to say about it, though, because he's looking to try to give Craven a run for his money as he jumps up to second with an 18,994. Now pulls up alongside Rogel Dorn. But how about this, though? Kyle Craven looking to try to nab his third pole of the year, and in less than 5 minutes time, it could very well happen. He just barely hangs on by 16 one-thousandths of a second. Or, excuse me, yeah, no, 16 one-thousandths of a second. I'm getting my math mixed up here. 16 one-thousandths of a second over Wyatt Walker. Now Sebastian Vaughn here in the 54. Ooh, is going to run our potential pole sitter here for tonight. Who could be our pole sitter for tonight if things hold up here within the next 4 minutes? Vaughn just ran Craven up the racetrack, and it looks like Craven's going to try to return the favor this lap around, and this time he's going to put the 54 into the wall in the process. Vaughn right now 11th with a 19.121, but still a good qualifying result nonetheless here for Sebastian Vaughn. But and also a really good turnaround here for this 54 team, almost 1/4 of the way through the season, and this 54 team has definitely performed a lot better than all the rest of the other races that Sebastian Vaughn ran last year. Definitely pretty close contact there between the 54 and the 28. How about this for the drinks? Monster Energy versus Dubby. So far, Dubby with the upper hand, but Vaughn jumps up to third, though, with a 19.036, the fastest of the drivers that are in that 19-second bracket. And did you just see that crossover that Kyle Craven just put on the 54 heading back through turn 1? That was actually pretty impressive. That's something that we could see here for tonight. We saw that quite a bit last night in the Truck Series race between Carter Friesen, Eli Bright, and even the 18 of Michael Davis last night. But he's running the 30 here for tonight, starting in the caboose for Michael Davis. So he's going to have a boatload of work cut out for him if he's going to have a chance of sweeping the weekend. But my oh my, what a sight to behold here. And oh boy, like this is kind of a preview of what we're gonna see here for tonight, with all this hard racing that we're seeing between the 54 and the 28. Now remember, this was kind of the results that we saw last year racing wise with these Cup cars. But I think they're definitely gonna do a bit of a better job at trying to manage cautions than what the Truck Series did last night. I mean, don't get me wrong, the truck race was pretty entertaining, but they definitely had a pretty interesting knack of getting into one another and putting each other into the outside wall. Vaughn just did that to himself here, as he just absolutely creamed the outside wall coming off of turn number 4. And Andrew Ramsey actually jumps up to third with a 19.025, kicking Vaughn back to fourth. And there is the number 5 of Claire Phillips. She's just getting her tires changed on her machine before she gets back out. There's Moscow, Andrew Ramsey. Not too long ago, he managed to get up to third quickest. And Vaughn is going to go get that right side of his car repaired. But he's definitely not going to have enough time to get back out onto the racetrack. We currently have less than 5 seconds to go here in this session before we add a little bit more time to the clock. That way these drivers can have enough time, or at least an opportunity, to put down one more good lap and try to make it count. But I don't think that will be happening anytime soon. We've seen stranger things happen where somebody at the very last possible second jumps up to the top of the board and managed to steal the pole away. But with this added time, I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly do not think that's going to happen. There's not enough time here for this qualifying session. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can now confidently say that Kyle Craven makes history. He wins his third pole of the 2026 season. He will be leading the field of the green flag alongside Wyatt Walker. In row 2, it will be Andrew Ramsey and Sebastian Vaughn. Row 3 sees Rogel Dorn and Russell Blaze. Row 4 will be Skylar Taylor and Claire Phillips. And completing your top 10, that is Avery Alford and Stephen Walker in row number 5. And the Powerhouse Crown racing teammates of Val Moscow, Eric Monaco, in the swapped order, to be more specific, they will be in row number 6. But that is going to complete qualifying here for tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. And coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll be able to see NOS Energy Cup Series action from here at the Martinsville Speedway live on Twitch. Again, that goes down at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're hoping you guys are able to join us for tonight's main event from here at the Martinsville Speedway. Congratulations to Kyle Craven on nabbing the pole here for tonight's Skittles 500. And that's going to do it here for this YouTube stream. We'll see you guys in just a few hours time over on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Skittles 500 from here at the Martinsville Speedway. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you tonight